Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Scott Bray. I'm the Vice President for Enrollment Management at Notre Dame Maryland University. We have a busy day scheduled for you, so we're just going to jump right in. And the first thing I'd like to do is introduce our president, Dr. Mary Lou Yam, who was appointed the 14th president of Notre Dame Maryland University in 2014. She has over 30 years experience in higher education and began her career as a registered nurse. In 2016, Governor Hogan appointed Dr. Yam to the Maryland Commission on Women. She's the chair of the Colonial State Athletic Conference and treasurer for the Maryland Independent Colleges and Universities Board. She was named to the top 100 women in Baltimore list in 2017. Dr. Yam, good morning. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. It's great to be with you. Thank you for accepting our invitation and for taking the time to learn about NDMU. Let me begin with this. NDMU is the only comprehensive university in Maryland to have a women's college. We prepare women leaders. That is one of our key strengths and our heritage. Notre Dame was the first Catholic women's college in the country to award the four-year degree. Students who come to NDMU become part of this significant history. I'm pleased to share that the university is in the top third, number 59, in the regional category North of US News rankings, and number 11 in top performer in social mobility. In a national study conducted about a year and a half ago, NDMU ranked number 2 in the state of Maryland among all private colleges and universities, and number 2 nationally among women's colleges on 10-year return on investment. The NDMU educational legacy involves two important elements: academic excellence and personal attention. We care about you personally, about your academic success, and about your futures. We're committed to outstanding teaching and student mentoring. Our faculty are first and foremost concerned about your learning and success, and will also provide you with ample opportunities to work with them on research and other scholarly projects. All of our classes are always taught by faculty, never teaching assistants. Notre Dame has over 25 majors and a number of distinctive programs and opportunities that you might not find at some other institutions. For example, we have a bachelor and master's degree programs in art therapy, the first in the state, a bachelor and a master of science in nursing program, a pre-pharmacy program and School of Pharmacy, which enables students to graduate with a professional pharmacy doctorate degree. Our School of Pharmacy also has a state-of-the-art vivarium for faculty and student research. Our communication department boasts a newly renovated digital media center and radio station. We have a top-notch science program and planetarium in which our students can study the planets, the sun, the stars in a very interesting learning venue. Our cutting-edge new imprint program focuses on building personal leadership, mentorship, global awareness, diversity, teamwork for all of our women's college students. We house the Women's Leadership Institute of Baltimore on our campus, which offers many programs, including our First Impressions seminar, in which students acquire career-ready skills in interviewing, resume prep, and much more. A 6-year bachelor's JD degree program with the University of Baltimore School of Law. A Trailblazers program, which provides opportunities and support for students in their students the first in their families to attend college. An outstanding Morrissey Honors program in the newer Morrissey House. Our School of Education is recognized as #1 among all private colleges in the state and is in the top 3 in the state as one of the largest providers of new certified teachers in Maryland. We offer 5-year programs in business, communication, and education, enabling you to get your bachelor's and your master's degree both in 5 years. Recently, NDMU was granted non-government NGO status by the United Nations. This means our students have opportunities to attend briefings and programs at the UN and greater opportunities for internships there. We travel to the UN 2 to 3 times per year. We also have a visiting ambassador program. We're the only college in Maryland to offer a Bonner Leaders Program. Students commit to service hours and may be eligible for additional grant aid. We take full advantage of our strategic location at Notre Dame on the I-95 corridor. Student internships have included companies such as Under Armour, Baltimore Sun, T. Rowe Price, the Maryland Governor's Office, and much more. In addition to our strong academic programs, Notre Dame offers a rich student life for our students with dozens of clubs and organizations, acting and theater experiences, a black box theater on campus, and NCAA Division III athletics, hosting 9 collegiate sports teams with our newer additions of cross country and track. Our Gators, volleyball Gators, recently won the conference championship in 2018 and 2019, and our lacrosse team recently won the conference championship in spring of 2019. So go Gators. Students enjoy the rich cultural opportunities in Baltimore, museums, music, shopping, the Inner Harbor, and more. So whether you're going up Charles Street or down to the Inner Harbor or across Camden, you will experience the dynamic city that Baltimore is. But perhaps most important, Notre Dame works with individuals. Each one of you here today is unique. With our 11-to-1 student-faculty ratio, we help you find your strengths and passions, and we nurture your excitement for career preparation and lifelong learning. So thank you. Thanks for taking the opportunity to learn about Notre Dame. I look forward to seeing you on campus in the fall. And once again, go Gators. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Yam. I wanted to just take a minute to thank a few people who've helped out today, especially Anna Gibney, who coordinates all our events, and the admissions counselors and all of our faculty here together. And I really want to go out of my way to thank our current students who joined us today to give up time on Saturday morning to help us give you information about why we think this opportunity is special for you. And the last thing I want to say to you before I turn it over to Marcy and wish you well today is, as you go through the next hour and a half or so, and you're thinking about all the things that we tell you, I want you to really consider some of the things that maybe you can't touch or put your hands on, or maybe it's not, the major you're thinking about. But I want you to think about things like the MPIM program, the idea of personal leadership and developing a network of mentors and advocates, global awareness, teamwork. And what we feel makes our experience a little bit special and a little bit different than some of the other opportunities you may be looking at is this whole experience at Notre Dame is designed to give you life skills and the skills for you, not just for your first job, but for your life and your career and your commitment to your community. And I always look to our president, who started as a nurse and worked her way up to a college president. And those types of skills you need to have. It's not just about, getting a job. That's great and important. We'll get you there. But it's really about how you can contribute to your community, how you can help other people. And I think there is a thread of service and commitment at Notre Dame that's very unique and very special. And, we worked on a new sort of marketing, campaign for the university and a new way to present ourselves. And how we did that was to talk to our students and our faculty. And they came around to this idea that, Notre Dame prepares you to be the best you. And the best you doesn't mean just a major or an education. It means how you can give back. So as you consider us today and you talk to our folks, I'm so excited they're here to help you, and admissions can kind of step back and watch. Thank you so much for being here. And we're just so excited to spend some time with you. Thank you. I'll turn it to Marcy.
Thank you, Scott. And again, thank you everybody for being here today on a Saturday. We really appreciate you here. So I'm just gonna quickly go over a few, just a slide actually, to talk about the next steps for the students here, since we have a diverse group of students that are in the Zoom today. So I just want, all right, so up on the screen here. So basically, if you're a student and you've applied, but you haven't received a decision yet, no worries, just contact your admission counselor so that we can see what we might be missing. It might just be a timing delay with processing or with the weather if you sent in, your transcripts through the mail. So on Monday, just check in with us and we'll get you through the process pretty quickly. And then if you've already been accepted, congratulations, just make sure that you've added Notre Dame to your FAFSA. The next information that you're going to be receiving is from our Director of Financial Aid, so you'll get more information about that. But add us to your FAFSA so that once we process that, we can get you your full financial aid award letter in the mail, and you're able to sit down and review it with your family. And then again, contact your admissions counselor or financial aid with any questions or concerns so that we can hopefully get you to the next step, which is depositing. And Notre Dame abides by the May 1st deadline. So if you're deposited, congratulations, you're just one step closer to starting with us in the fall. You'll be receiving information shortly about the registration days that we have coming up in June. And so at those registration days, you're going to get your schedule, your student ID, your tech information, and you're basically just geared up and ready to start in the fall with us. So that's very exciting. And at any point during this info session, if you have any questions, just drop them in the chat because the admissions counselors are here now and they're going to be reviewing that and answering as we can. But if we can't get to your question today, or if we need to follow up, we'll get in touch with you on Monday. So really excited to have everybody here today. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Chris, who is our Director in Financial Aid.
Hi, Marcy. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me today, Marcy. So what I thought I would do today is just try to highlight for all of you, I think most importantly this time of the year, we want to make sure that students and families are comfortable with where you are in the financial aid process. Not only here at Ndmu, but at all the institutions you're considering, this process can be very intimidating. So we try the best we can to boil it down, to give you good guidance on where you are, where you should be, and sort of where you're going to be going next. So that's what most of my presentation will be about today. If you have questions, throw them into text. I'll be on even after my portion of the presentation, and I will respond to your chat as we go forward. So by this time, all of you, I always feel like we should do a poll. All of you should have completed your FAFSA. FAFSA went active last October. If you have not done your FAFSA, it's no big deal. You can go ahead and do it now, but the sooner the better. If you have completed your FAFSA and you are accepted, most institutions, including Ndmu, began sending award letters right around the holiday season of 2020. We started, I believe it was the last week of November into the first week of December. So for those of you who are already accepted at Ndmu and have done your FAFSA, if by chance you don't have an award letter, please get in touch with us as soon as possible, or put your name into chat and I'll take it down on my notepad and check and see what's going on Monday morning. That's very rare, but it happens. So if you think you should have an award letter and don't, please let me know. After you receive your award letter, I think it's the first real milestone for your family other than getting accepted at the college. It's kind of the indicator that you've taken the steps you need to get up and running in your college search from a financial aid perspective. For moms and dads who are out there, this is your indication that the process was not overwhelming, that you did just great, and you are in a place that is preparing you now to take care of your children, which is a wonderful feeling. I have 3 children of my own. It's incredibly rewarding. My daughter's on the way to college. We have her financial aid award letter. And even after doing this for many years, it still felt good to get that in the mail. So I know what you were feeling. And in some ways, I think that's a good thing. We can commiserate together as the bills start to come. So slide. Okay, so what is on your financial aid award letter? Well, your financial aid award letter, most importantly, takes sources of financial aid from all over and consolidates them in one place. So you have federal information, state information, university information, and in some cases, we will have information from local sources that you advise us of, and they will also show up on your award letter. It is by far the most important document that you need to get just started on your financial planning. We do an awful lot of financial planning work in the office. We are there to bounce ideas off of, or simply to help you talk through where you believe you are in the process. So feel free to call or write. We're very lucky to have a talented counseling staff in place, and they're there to help you and make you feel comfortable about the process. In addition to the basic components of an award letter, it's really the first time for moms and dads that you really have the opportunity to start making choices about how you're going to take care of college expenses for your young person. I can speak for myself. When we received our award letter, we sat down at the kitchen table after dinner. We looked at the components of the award letter. We tried to figure out what programs my daughter was going to use, which programs we were not going to use. We had a discussion about whether she was going to work for her first year in college. I think the award letter kind of brings all of those decisions to the top of your pyramid, if you will, and it gives you an opportunity to start talking about real financial decisions for the first time since you started the college search. So it is quite a milestone, and I think it's an important one. It's always important to mention that your award letter also provides to you links to consumer information. Obviously, you are working with an operation that's highly regulated, not only at Ndmu, but at every institution in the nation. And the consumer information that you're provided is important to understand your rights and your responsibilities within the system. We can also help with that, of course. If you're working through information and don't understand anything that you're reading, again, call us, give us an opportunity to help you, and we'll direct you along the way in that area. In addition to the award letter, and most of you probably have this as well, there's a financial aid next steps document. I've already mentioned once what we try to do is to take a complicated process and boil it down to a step-by-step process that leads you in very specific ways through the end of the financial aid process. So I believe it's 7 or 8 steps. We talk about how to secure your federal loans. We introduce some decision-making possibilities for moms and dads about how to start thinking about college expenses. And more than anything else, we provide you the links, the federal links, so you can begin the process of securing aid dollars. So now that you have your award letter, you've been accepted at the selective colleges in the country, it means that you've done very well as a high school student. You've made great decisions as far as your curriculum, picked a great place to apply, you're accepted, you have an award letter. And so what's still out there in front of you, and how can you plan for those things? So as they come along, you're not intimidated by the process, but just kind of going with the flow of the process. So most importantly, after you receive your financial aid award letter, as I've mentioned, you've crossed one benchmark and you've sort of moved into a new area. And in some cases, you are required to provide the financial aid office, again, not only at Ndmu, but at most institutions in the nation, in additional documents. They could be citizenship documents or tax documents or documents about your family size. This is a normal part of the process. I think sometimes families, when they receive those letters from financial aid offices, they automatically think that they've made a mistake on their FAFSA. 9 times out of 10, that is not the case. What we're doing is verifying what you did report. Sometimes we find small errors that we have to fix or large errors that we have to fix, but in most cases, it does not hurt your eligibility for financial aid at all. And I always say it's good to move quickly, but move slow enough to be accurate. So what you do not want to do is to move so quickly that you're making a lot of mistakes, because then you're just going to continuously get letters in the mail that may not make a lot of sense because of the mistakes you made on the documents that you sent in originally. So move slow. Call us before you submit anything in case you're concerned that you're submitting the right thing, and we can help you through that process. And I've already mentioned the out-of-pocket expense conversation. It's really important. I always call them after dinner conversations. That's how we did it in my home. That when you have your award letter and you're starting to think about how this is going to come together for your family, normal situations for expenses usually take the shape in monthly payment plans, federal borrowing, which is what my wife and I will do for students, is a very popular way of educating children, especially in the highly selective college environment like Ndmu. They're very strong programs, they're very good programs, and they're very affordable programs, which is important to us. As far as benchmarks outside of the financial aid office that mean a lot to your future understanding of the process, I always try to give families some indication of when they're going to start seeing things from other areas. So usually you're going to see billing starting to occur in June or July before an August start time. And you'll see financial aid moving from your award letter onto your student account in late September and October. And then it will continue all semester long and indeed all academic year long. You'll see that process happening. One of the most important things to take with you today is an early reminder of how to keep up with the financial aid and the business office process. And if all of you students are using notepads today, self.ndm.edu is something you will hear over and over and over again during your time at the university. You want to share that site with your mom and dad so they understand how to keep up with the business part of your time at the university. It's a very easy system to use. It's a self-service portal. We've worked very hard on making it user-friendly, and I think you'll be pleased with it. But if for some reason you're not, give us a call and we'll talk you through it. And finally, right after you begin school at Ndmu, you'll go right into the financial aid process for the upcoming academic year. So about 7 years ago, the government approved what they called early FAFSA. So what that means, as soon as you begin school, you start applying for the following year. In some ways, I think it's good for families to kind of get used to the calendar. So in October of 2021 of this year, you'll start the process for the 22-23 academic year. And as I've already mentioned a couple times, early is always best. So the faster you complete the FAFSA, the quicker you end up in the mail flow process, the quicker you start hearing from us and feeling good about where you are in the process. I think that's all I had, Marcy. If you guys have questions, please put them into chat and I'll respond as we go forward.
Thanks, Chris. And we're also going to have a link at the end of this so that you can sign up for a one-on-one call with financial aid next week. So that'll be at the end of the presentation in the chat. So now we're going to switch gears to the School of Art Sciences and Business. And so I'm going to pass it over to Dean Pam O'Brien and Associate Dean Jen Erdman.
Thank you so much, Marcy. We are so excited to have all of you here joining us on a Saturday to learn a little bit more about the university and the School of Art Sciences and Business. And before I kind of get the whole process going, in case you kind of came in a little bit later, we would like you to take a moment while I'm speaking, if you're able to download the app Kahoot. Some of you may already have that on your phone, but we have a little fun activity that'll tell you more about in just a minute. So please take the time now to try to download that app. We're also going to have a wonderful student panel for you that will hopefully give you a chance to really dialogue and engage with some of the current students that we have here at Notre Dame. And that'll be coming up at the end of the session today. As Marcy said, my name is Dr. Pamela O'Brien. I am the Dean of the school. My home department, though, is Communication Arts and Digital Media Arts. My professional background is television production, and I study popular culture and animation, specifically Disney. So actually, right before you guys came on, we were having a bit of a discussion about the finale of WandaVision. And I say that just because I want you to know that every faculty member that you have here has an incredibly diverse background that they bring to your education, and that really our goal is to help you see how what you want to do in your career also meshes with what your goals are and what you want to do with your life. And that's really what the School of Arts and Sciences and Business is about, is to give you that foundation. And so I'm actually going to get ready to turn over the rest of this session to my Associate Dean, Dr. Jen Erdman, who is also the director of our history program, as well as the director of our first year seminar. So all of you, whether you're a transfer student or you're going to be coming in as a new student, will have a lot of opportunities to interact with Dr. Erdman. And we thought, what better way to kind of introduce you to the university and the school than to do a little mini lecture to get you engaged and to show you that here at Notre Dame, we don't just lecture at you, we actually want you to be active participants in your learning. And also this should give you a little bit of a clue about some of our personalities as well, based on the questions. And so I do say, pay attention. There will be a quiz at the end, and that is where Kahoot comes in. And so with that, again, welcome, and I turn it over to Dr. Erdman.
Wow, that's intimidating introduction. Hi, everybody. Thanks, Dean O'Brien, for that super, like I said, super intimidating introduction. So I'm Dr. Erdman. As Dean O'Brien said, I teach history, so a little bit of history because I can't help myself in what we're going to talk about a little bit today. And as a lot of you will probably need a history class. Well, all of you will need a history class, but as a lot of you may end up taking a class with me, you're going to get me for a whole semester, which will be hopefully fun for everyone. But the reason that Dean O'Brien and I actually really enjoy each other is because we both study popular culture, and my frame of reference, my popular culture addiction is Marvel. And so if there is a conversation on WandaVision, I'm usually the one that started it. So my icebreaker was going to be, thank you for pausing WandaVision or taking the time away from Disney Plus today to join us. I appreciate that. I will be rewatching it tomorrow to get back into those Easter eggs. So as I said, I kind of infuse history into literally everything I do, which is why history TikTok is kind of everything that I scroll through on the app. And so I wanted to give you a little bit of the history of the area and the school, because I know that we do have some possible people who are from Maryland, from Baltimore, from out of state, maybe even from out of the country, and even lifelong Marylanders don't necessarily know some of the history of the area, and it's on the quiz. So it's a little bit normal for us educators to be like, oh, right, I put it on the midterm, I got to make sure I go over it. So real fast, Maryland was one of the original 13 colonies, and it was officially founded in 1662. And so we, as a colony, continue to evolve. Take one of my classes, I'll give you a lot more information. We're going to speed forward for a few hundred years. And we see that the College of Notre Dame of Maryland was founded by the School Sisters of Notre Dame in 1895. And as President Mary Lou Yam mentioned, this is the first women's college, Catholic women's college in the United States to offer a 4-year degree. If you are talking to a few different schools or researching a few different schools, you may hear about a school's mission, but at Notre Dame, this is something that all of us, have really dedicated our careers and a lot of our work to. And the mission at Notre Dame challenges our students to strive for professional and intellectual excellence, But one of the things that I really work for in the School of Art, Sciences, and Business and my classes and first year seminar and everything else is building inclusive, it's Saturday, guys, inclusive communities, engaging in service to others and promoting social responsibility. The History Political Science department worked really hard to kind of instill those values in our students, as does many of the other departments in School of Art, Sciences, and Business. If I could have the next slide, please. Thank you. So the Women's College has a lot of different pieces to it, but the School of Art, Sciences, and Business, we kind of see ourselves as the heart of the Women's College. And that's because the liberal arts education, which we overhauled a little while ago, and it's kind of, we refer to it as empowering or empower and engage. And we see liberal arts education as basically everything that's listed here. It's central to a successful career, develops skills of verbal and written communication. It provides what a lot of people refer to as SMART skills. They used to be called soft skills, and I don't like that term because they make them seem less important. And instead, I like to call them SMART skills. And the reason, why we want to talk about them is that they're these transferable skills that you can use in almost every job, every part of your life. And that is what you learn in a liberal arts education. And it's things like critical thinking skills. It's things like being able to communicate with each other, which is one of the big things that you learn in Dean O'Brien's home department. It's things like writing skills, which you learn in pretty much every department in the School of Art, Sciences, and Business. It's learning about yourself, which you can learn in everything from history to philosophy to religious studies. And so the School of Art, Sciences, and Business helps our students become more self-aware, but also prepares them for what they'd like to do in the greater world. I'm literally just looking at the Kahoot quiz to make sure I'm covering everything, because midterms are next week and I'm doing the same thing I did in class the other day. Okay, next slide, please. So I am not going to say all of these words that are on the screen because that is a lot of words, but I wanted to mention, or at least visually show you all of the programs, which are majors and minors that we have in the School of Art, Sciences, and Business. I know that a lot of you are interested in art therapy and criminology and bio. I saw one political science major. Hi, how are you? I can talk to you later. But there are so many different programs, and we are a really diverse school. And again, that goes into really showing that we appeal and work towards holistically teaching and educating the entire student. So it's not just the right brain, it's also the left brain. It's not just the brain, it's also the heart and the soul of the student that we are working to help build as the Notre Dame student. And because I can't help myself, I just want to point to that history minor and the women's studies minor that's on there. Again, you just want to talk to me about it, we can talk about it. But all of them are really great programs, and your admissions counselor can absolutely help you find the advisor or the person of contact for any of those majors or minors if any of those appeal to you whatsoever. Next slide, please. So we have some really fantastic pieces within the School of Art, Sciences, and Business that are going to help you if you choose to attend, that are going to help you with your research skills and also potentially sort of advancing you in a possible graduate career or a career in general. Our Nancy Prater Research Day takes place every spring. And a lot of times this is something that's thought to be a fully science-based presentation, but we also get vocal performances, we get art showing, like showcasings. We get, basically this is a place for any student who has done a research project that can present it and showcase it to the entire school. We also have a program called the Sister Alma program, where you are able to, this is a science STEM-based program, where you are able to do research, I believe at Johns Hopkins, and Dean O'Brien can correct me if I'm wrong, that students can apply for and get some really top tier additional research opportunities. And as President Yam said, we also have the non-governmental organization, the NGO status with the UN. And I personally was able to go and sit on the floor of the UN in February of 2020, so right before COVID hit. And it was thrilling. It was just so joyful to see the students engaging with diplomats and world leaders and, historical figures. Just in normal business. It was just absolutely wonderful experience. And this happens when COVID isn't a thing. It happens every semester. So it is something that is truly unique to Notre Dame. And so these are just a few of the things that the School of Art, Sciences, and Business can offer to its students. And like I said, I don't want to go on forever, even though I could, because I can talk the ears off of anybody. So what I wanted to do now is to play Cahoots, because, and let me tell you, the different number of iterations of a game show that went through my head for today is a little bit much. But I finally did, pare it down. When you come here and you see me in class, you'll understand. Because I do like to go a little bit over the top sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. And obviously, we love the music. So there are some questions from the presentation, and then there are some general pop culture and cultural questions of the day. Because I didn't want to make it all all questions. Everybody can play. Everybody can play. So go ahead and log in. I don't have any prizes for you other than you get to win. Because again, like I genuinely was gonna make it like a Wheel of Fortune, Price is Right kind of game, but that seemed a little excessive for a Zoom kind of thing. But all right, so we've got 14 people are still joining. So I'm going to give everybody another minute. It's not required, but I do highly suggest that you join. There's an 80s theme that went, like I could have chosen, and I really did think about it. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. This celebrity's 2 French bulldogs were recently stolen and returned. Is it Joe Jonas, Lady Gaga, Kim Kardashian, or Tom Holland? It is, in fact, Lady Gaga, yes. Excellent. True or false? The innovation station at the library includes 3D printing, audio production, laminating, and laser cutting. That's all the answers. It is true. All of those things you can do at we share our library with Loyola, so it's the Loyola Notre Dame Library, and you can do all of those things in our innovation station, which I highly suggest. It's super fun. Oh, LAG, taking the lead. Trying really hard on my game show host voice. What do you need to do to make sure that when do you need to make sure you've added MDNU to your FAFSA? When you've applied, when you're accepted, when you've deposited, or after you've graduated? It's not after you graduated. There's a hint for you. When you're accepted. So make sure it's when you are accepted that you add MDNU to your FAFSA. I'm going to say that the people who answered the red I confused them because I couldn't actually read the question. I feel like it's a really fair point. Okay. Quiz question. This show on Disney Plus was the most watched show of February 2021. Was it Bridgerton, WandaVision, The Bachelor, or Chicago Med? Yeah, it was WandaVision. I wanted to be like, we were just talking about it. It was real good, guys. Bridgerton's on Netflix. We can talk about Bridgerton when you all come to campus. First Lady Jill Biden has what degree that can also be earned at MDNU in our grad program? Is it a PhD in history, in education, in political science, or business? In education, Dr. Jill Biden. Courtney's killing it. When does the FAFSA process begin again? Is it July, October, January of next year, or March of next year? October of next year. So right after the school year begins. Oh my God, Courtney, killing it. This is the key document needed to begin your college financial planning. Is it your acceptance letter, your award letter, a financial form, or your invoice from the business office? Your award letter, absolutely right. It is your award letter. I don't know where I'm going with this voice, but I think it's evolving. I'm trying to reference all of these game show hosts from the 70s and 80s that none of you have ever heard of. What year was MDNU founded? 1776, 1895, 1985, or 2000? 1895. Yeah. I almost wanted somebody to pick 2000. I don't know why. I just kind of wanted it. What EDM duo just broke up after more than 20 years together? Was it Simon and Garfunkel, Daft Punk, Sonny and Cher, or Ike and Tina Turner? Because I didn't know any other EDM groups. So I just chose duos that I knew of. Yes, Daft Punk. I don't listen to any music made after the year 2000. So this was a weird question for me. Jolise wants me to do a weakest link impression. Who played Captain America? Captain America in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Is it Downey, Chris Evans, Mark Ruffalo, or Stan Lee? Please get this right. It's very important to me. Yes, it's Chris Evans, and he thanks you. I have the bobblehead. That's what I'm doing right now. I don't want to do a weakest link. That's mean. True or false? The College Town Shuttle is a free transportation service that takes students to 7 different places around Baltimore City. True. You can go to 7 different locations around Baltimore by taking the College Town Shuttle, and all you need to do is show your Notre Dame ID. Courtney just got bumped from the first place. What year was the colony of Maryland founded? Remember I told you it was going to be on the quiz. Was it 1162? 1662, 1862, or 1962? 1662, absolutely. Oh, Jojo! Now I want you to fail. No, I'm just kidding. Jojo's one of my advisees. Who is the president of Ndmu? You better get this right, y'all. Is it Pamela O'Brien? Is it Mary Lou Yam? Is it Sister Sharon Sleer? Or is it me? It's not me. Not me, y'all. Get this right. Thank you for whoever said me, even though I told you it wasn't. It is President Mary Lou Yam. Jolisa is the lead. I don't know what. I'm gonna have to buy her lunch or something. Who is the Vice President of the United States? Is it Joe Biden? Is it Kamala Harris? Is it Michelle Obama? I wish. Or is it Nancy Pelosi? Was I running out of questions? Yes, I was. Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you guys all got this one right. I very much appreciate that. Which departments are in the School of Art, Sciences, and Business? Biology, political science, art therapy, or all of the above? All of the above. All of these different ones are in the School of Art, Science, and Business. I don't know what's happening now. I'm terrified because I know this is being recorded. This sports figure was recently injured in a car accident in California. Was it Tom Brady, Tiger Woods, Conor McGregor, or Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? I was sad to put Rock Johnson on there because I was like, he can't be hurt. He needs to be protected at all costs. Tiger Woods. I hope I don't talk like this all day. Okay, a couple more questions. Empower and Engage is the name of MDNU's what? Sports program, liberal arts education, the drama club, or the UN club? The liberal arts education is called Empower and Engage. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to buy JoJo something. This is terrible. Central to all of the Notre Dame community is the school's what? Is it the song, the mission, sports, or its mascot? It's mission, absolutely. We live and breathe our mission here. Okay. 2 questions left. Notre Dame challenges its students to what? Strive for intellectual and professional excellence, build inclusive communities, promote social responsibility, or all of the above? 14 of you answered super fast. All of the above. Last question. This state recently went through a horrific winter storm. California, Texas, Florida, or Ohio? Oh, okay. It was Texas. Yeah! Number 2, Marley. And shocking no one is Jolie's. With Courtney and Cara M coming in is the 4th and the 5th runner-up. We can just turn that off and I can stop sharing. So I just thank you guys for indulging me. I just wanted to have some kind of fun way to learn a little bit more about all of us, break the ice. So I appreciate all of you for that. So now I would like to get started with our student panel. And I'm going to turn it back over to Dean O'Brien to introduce our students.
Thank you so much, Dr. Erdman, and thank you all for participating in our little Kahoot there. So we do want to allow quite a bit of time this afternoon to let you talk to some of our current students. And we have selected a very diverse group, a very diverse panel for you based on some of the majors that you expressed as an interest in. And I'm going to have to kind of do this a little bit as I'm seeing people. And so if I miss any of the students, please shout out as I'm going through this. And they're just going to introduce a little bit about themselves. And then we're going to open it up to sort of a dialogue between potential new students and our current students. So since Jolise won our Kahoot, I think it's only appropriate that she get us started. I know I'm embarrassing her, but Jolise, Jolise does like everything on campus. So I think she's probably a good one to start with to kind of give you a sense of all that you can do here at Notre Dame. So Jolise.
Thank you, Dean O'Brien and Dr. Erdman. Hi, everyone. I am Jolise Gray. I am currently a sophomore here at Notre Dame. I am a major of international studies with a specialization in international relations. And just to give you a little snapshot of what I do here at Notre Dame, I am the president of the Global Advocacy Club, which is the UN club at the same time. So we do the Visiting Ambassador program. There's a lot. I am the Newman Civic Fellow, so I've spent the year doing civic engagement and participation in the community. I also represent Notre Dame for the Maryland Higher Education Commission. I am also the president of my class council, and I am also in the Morrissey Honors Program. And just to give you what is my favorite thing about Notre Dame, I absolutely love the community here. Every event that I attend to is it's so great. So it was nice speaking to all of you.
Thank you, Jolise. And I'm just going to keep going around my screen here. The next I see is Kara Mclaughlin.
Hi, my name's Kara. I'm a sophomore biology major on a pre-professional track because I want to go into orthotics and prosthetics. And on campus, I'm the current chief financial officer for the Student Government Association. So I've worked with Jolise a lot this past year. And I'm also in the Morrissey Honors Program and part of Tri Beta, which is the Biology National Honor Society. And I'm a member of the volleyball team. So I got to go with my team down to Georgia pre-COVID for part of the NCAA tournament, which was pretty cool. And what I like about being on campus is the community, like Jolie said, and we get to know each other pretty well. And it's just nice because you get that sense of really getting to know your professors.
Great, thank you so much. Next, to introduce yourself, I see Farah.
Hi everyone, I'm Farah. I'm a junior biology major and chemistry minor. I'm also on a pre-professional track because I'm thinking of going to med school. I'm part of the Elizabeth Mercy Honors Program and I am the secretary for the class of 2022. And I'm also part of the Tri Beta Biology Honors Society. And the thing that I like most about Notre Dame is the amount of support that you get. And since I'm an international student, like the amount of support I've received is, especially with COVID recently, has been great. So yeah, you won't be alone.
Great, thank you so much. And next I see one of my own home students, Malika. Malika, could you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Malika. I'm a junior. I'm a comm arts major and a business minor. My campus roles, I manage the student media station, so the radio station. We have a TV station that, well, we can't use right now because of COVID, but maybe if one of you are interested, we can start running that and booting it up when everything is open back. And I also am in the Afro Caribbean Association Club. And something I like about Notre Dame, the small class sizes makes it a lot easier to talk to your professors. And I have a 3-year-old, so people like professors being flexible with me was a big thing that I was looking for when I started school. And I've gotten tons of support and I've made a lot of relationships with and networking with at Ndmu. So I like where I am and I hope you come.
Thank you. Next I see Grace.
Hi everyone, my name is Grace. I am a junior at Notre Dame and I am an art therapy major. I am a member of Omega Phi Alpha, the National Service Sorority on campus. I am also a member of Psi Chi and the Elizabeth Morrissey Honors Program. And I also am Dr. Wester's student assistant for the Gormley Gallery, which is the art gallery on campus. And I run the Severa Gallery, which is our student showcase art gallery on campus as well. And my favorite thing about Dom is that it's a women's college and that the amount of support and empowerment we have from each other and our professors is absolutely unmatched. And there's so many leadership opportunities for women here.
Thank you so much, Grace. And I think I see Casey Nutter next. Yes.
Hi everyone, I'm Casey Nutter. I'm a senior art therapy major. I'm also a part of the Elizabeth Morrissey Honors Program and part of Psi Chi. I'm also the president of the Psychology Club and the Growth in Nature Club. My favorite part about Notre Dame is how diverse our campus is and just how inclusive it is to everyone.
Great, thank you so much, Casey, and I love your background. So I think I've gotten all the students here. If I missed anybody, just shout out, but I think that's everyone. And so now it's just really an opportunity for anyone here who's joining us today as a guest to ask questions to any of our students or to Dr. Erdman or myself, but really it's just a chance to hopefully get a dialogue going.
And feel free also, everyone has the ability to unmute yourself. So you can just unmute yourself to ask a question, or you can throw it in the chat as well. And we'll make sure that everyone's answering it from the chat also.
And maybe as people are thinking about a question, maybe I'll get one kind of started. I'll just throw it out to anyone on the student panel who wants to answer. But how did you end up deciding what you wanted to major in? Whether it was before you came here to Notre Dame or even after you got here?
I'll answer that question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was gonna say, I knew what I wanted to do before I even applied to Notre Dame. It was just about finding which major fit right. So the political science department has a lot of different branches that you can go into. So I was just working with the admissions counselors. I had a wonderful woman, Miss Dancy, who I don't believe is still at Notre Dame, but she helped me narrow down which one I wanted to do, which was international studies. And I've had no thought of even changing it. It's been a really perfect fit. And Dr. Henderson, the department chair, and Dr. Erdman worked with me as well to narrow down a major.
And Grace, did you want to? I thought I saw your hand raised, but now I don't
Yeah.
even see Grace. Oh, there you are, Grace. Everything moved on my screen all of a sudden. Okay, go ahead, Grace.
So I chose art therapy, and I'm not gonna lie, when I came into Dom, I was really lost. I didn't know what I wanted to major in, but Dom really allowed me to explore a lot of different fields, and I chose art therapy because it allowed me to combine my love for art making and also my desire to help people and be in a helping profession.
And, oh, yeah, go ahead, Malika.
I chose, well, when I came in, I actually had put that my major was going to be marketing communications, which is different than communication arts. I couldn't decide whether I wanted to get into, so communications is a broad field. So you could do like TV production, like Dr. O'Brien, or you could do PR or advertising, marketing, journalism, and I didn't know which one I wanted to go into. So communication arts teaches you about everything under that umbrella. And I figured if I could get a little bit of everything, then I would be easier to decide. So I'm pursuing a specialty in advertising and PR right now. And business just enforces everything that I'm learning with comm arts. So that's also why I'm a business minor.
Great. And I did see in the chat, just to kind of shift away from that for a second, Elizabeth was asking if she could get some more information about the honors program. I know a number of our students here are part of that. So if anyone of the students kind of wants to jump in and talk more about the honors program, kinds of things you get to do, anything about it, it would help a student know why they should look at being part of Morrissey.
I can answer.
Awesome. Thank you, Kara.
To that a little bit. I probably won't have like all the details, but you can apply to Morrissey when you're applying to Notre Dame, and once accepted, you get the chance to take like specialty classes each semester. And I've taken a couple of I took one class where it was like the evolution of the epic from Homer to Star Wars, and we got to go to the Walters Art Museum for a lecture, which was pretty cool. And you get a lot of extra opportunities that you wouldn't otherwise have. Like they offer tickets, you can purchase tickets to go see Broadway shows and or at the Hippodrome. And then pre-COVID, we had an event called Ton of Food where we would just eat a bunch of food from like a specific culture, whichever culture was picked for that semester, at like right before finals. And it's another way to really get to know your peers and who's on campus that you wouldn't normally talk to outside of your major. And it's a nice sense of community.
Great, thank you. Any of the other Morrissey students want to add anything to that? I can also give some more details. Yes, Grace, I see your hand.
I was going to mention too, I know Kara mentioned you can apply when you apply to Notre Dame, but I joined my junior year, so starting after my sophomore year. So even if you don't apply when you apply to college, you still have an opportunity to get into it if it's something that you're interested in later on.
Yes, that's a great point, Grace. Basically, you know, it's always wonderful to be able to apply before, but yes, some students don't think about it or don't really realize that that's what they want to do. And so you do have that opportunity to apply up through your sophomore year. Jolise?
I was gonna say what's great about Morrissey, what Kara and Grace have touched on is that you get to take these specialty courses, and as well as you get the opportunity to present your research at honors conferences. So it gives you the chance to show other people and other peers who aren't just from Notre Dame what you're working on. And it's the opportunity to educate others. Like I'm working on a paper about Chinese hegemony that's going to go in April. So something that's niche to me and something that I enjoy, I get to share it with other people. And I think is what's great about the Morsi Honor program, because we have like scholarly socials where you can hear from other professors and their research, and you just get to hear about what everyone's passions are and what they truly enjoy researching at Notre Dame through this program.
Hit the wrong button, sorry. Just one other thing to add to that is if you do want to apply, you can reach out to your admissions counselor and they can give you information. There is an essay that you need to do that the honors board will look at in terms of being accepted if you're coming in before you come to Notre Dame. And just to kind of echo that it is a really great way for you to learn and for instructors and professors to actually be able to do something sort of outside of perhaps a normal curriculum. I know I've had the honor of teaching in the honors program an anime class a couple of times. It was a lot of fun. And I know over the winter, I'm not going to call out which biology professor it was, but we had one of our biology professors who's very into science fiction and actually can speak fluent Klingon. If anyone knows that Star Trek reference, he taught a class sort of about the science in science fiction. And that's just sort of one of the examples of something that we normally would not get to do, in terms of one of our biology professors. Other questions that people might like to ask our student panel? Or Kara, I see your hand up.
I just say Grace and I took that class.
So they can give you a little bit more insight then into, yeah, I will admit I did have a meeting with that particular biology professor right after one of the classes, and he was in makeup, and it took me a moment to be able to start the meeting without asking a ton of questions about that. Okay, here's a question from Aisha. Are there any students on the panel that commute to school instead of living on campus? And if they do, what is it like for them? I'm trying to think who are our commuters. Oh yeah, Malika.
Yes, I'm a commuter student. My freshman year, it was a bit of an adjustment having to like drive and plan for getting to class early. But I also think it teaches you a lot of discipline being a commuter student. And though you're not on campus and it's harder to make friends, you still end up running into people that you just had a class with in the parking lot and things like that. So there's usually always spots to park. There's a commuter parking lot that's closer to the comm arts buildings and the dorms. And then there's the tennis courts. So you can park there whenever. And so that's kind of in between everything. And the walk is good. It's healthy, so I don't mind commuting. It's not bad. And my commute isn't that horrible either, so.
Are any of the other students commuters? Because I do know we also have a lot of wonderful spaces around campus so that if you're in between classes, you can still go and hang out with other classmates. And we have a lot of activities for everybody, but some specifically engaged for commuter students. And we do have a commuter lounge. So there's a lot of different ways for commuter students to still be involved, to still be able to interact and socialize with other students. And we do have a good number of commuters. So you're definitely not, alone in that particular kind of process of getting to and from campus. Oh, and Kara just pointed out we have a club called Commuters United. And so they do activities for commuters to socialize. That's great. Other questions?
Going off of on the other side of that, do any of the students that are on the panel live on campus right now? And if you could kind of touch on kind of what that experience is like and if campus feels safe during all this COVID time, and just kind of elaborate on what your experience is like living on campus as well.
Julius, I see you raised your hand.
So I'm actually an out-of-state student. So I come from New Jersey, about 200 miles away. So obviously I live on campus. We have 2 dorms. I've lived in both. So Doyle is typically for our upperclassmen, and then Militia is for freshmen. And we have some upper class dorms too. But depending on COVID, they separated us depending on like majors and class. But I'm here in Militia. I feel completely safe here at Notre Dame. We get tested pretty regularly for COVID, so it's random, but for me at least, it's been pretty almost like bi-weekly, or just every 2 weeks. And if you're to go to the dining hall, you have gloves on. Obviously, everyone wears their mask on campus. And you go, and it's a grab and go kind of style. They have opened up the dining hall so you can go. The library is open with obviously precautions. There's like everything pretty much on campus still feels normal, just with like added conditions. So just the gloves, the mask, but I really haven't felt odd this semester. Like it still feels normal in a sense. Like I can still see my friends, talk to them, hang out, obviously socially distance with masks, and it doesn't feel any different to me.
Great, thank you, Julius. Kara?
To go off of that, I'm in Doyle, the other dormitory here, and Jaleesa and I actually made a snowman the other week when it was like snowing a lot outside of the honors house. So we still do a lot of normal everyday things, like people were sledding down the hill too, socially distanced. So it feels like a normal semester, but at the same time, we did have to adjust to virtual learning. And the dining hall is actually on the first floor of Doyle. So right when you walk in, it's straight ahead. And that's pretty much the only main dining option. We have Gator Grind, which is in Gator Alley, which is also part of Doyle, but like on a different level. And that's closed because of COVID right now. And then I think somebody in the chat said something about the honors program having special dorms. We currently do not have special dorms for Morrissey, but I do know the director was talking about getting a special section in Doyle, but we were supposed to have that happen this semester, but it didn't.
Right, just to go off of that, we are in the process of developing a living learning community for around Morrissey and the honors students. That all the different living learning communities that we'll have next year, you'll be getting more information about in the very near future, because definitely Morrissey is not the only one that would have that. We have one that we've had for a number of years on, and I'm not going to get the name right, so hopefully someone can help me. The Leadership LLC that Dr. Calhoun has been running, Emerging Leaders, thank you. And that's a phenomenal program that is definitely one that if you're looking at wanting to learn more about leadership, wanting to learn more about how to present yourself in a professional way, that's an excellent LLC as well. There was a question too about the food, and I know Kara said this a little bit, but is there anybody else that wants to kind of share about the dining experiences or the food experiences at Notre Dame? It's always, I always love how that comes up as a question, because I think that is, it's important. It's a very important consideration. Oh, Julius was saying, yeah, that LLC was great. I forgot that Julius was in that, yeah. Oh, sorry, my dog just came in, and I apologize for jerking there a little bit. So I will say just really quickly on the food, yes, we do have one we do have the main cafeteria. They do try to do a lot of special events, a lot of special days, even during COVID. I know they're getting ready to do some stuff for, March being St. Patrick's Day. So they try to do, the special dinners. And we do have a lot of sort of traditions that hopefully we'll be able to get back to that involve the dining. One of the special dinners I think she may be mentioning is that usually once a month, they try to do almost like you're at a restaurant and you go in and they actually have the staff in the cafeteria serving the students, restaurant style, which I think is really a cool idea. And then if you saw about the Christmas dinner, that's one of the big traditions at Notre Dame that I have desperately missed. I desperately missed that this year, where faculty and staff will come in and will kind of give gifts to everyone, all the students at their table. And we have a great dinner and a lot of fun conversation. And then we do a really fun singing of the 12 days of Christmas, where everyone makes a complete kind of fun joke of themselves. It's wonderful. And so hopefully that is something we'll be able to get back to this coming year, because I actually already have my little gifts that I want to give my table picked out. So hopefully we'll be able to get back to that. I just saw a bunch of things come across in the chat.
I also wanted to pop in. I'm a staff member, but a week or so ago during lunch, they had a mac and cheese bar. And that was delicious. I went and got that. There was some buffalo chicken and spinach that I was able to add into my mac and cheese, and it was phenomenal.
I will admit, I also miss the soft pretzel bars that we occasionally have. So yeah, so I think what we're trying to say is that, you know, there's definitely, while it is one cafeteria, they really do their absolute best to give you options every day, whether it's a dietary situation or whether it's just to kind of mix it up and do something fun. And so, yeah, there's definitely a lot of different opportunities for different types of food throughout the semesters.
I wanted to add really quick about the
yeah, definitely.
As far as I know, I think I might be the only diabetic on campus, but I'm also a vegetarian, and the cafeteria staff works really hard and really well at accommodating me with my nutritional needs. So they are, you know, very accepting of everyone who comes in, and they will help you if you need it.
Thank you so much for that, Casey. That's a good point, that they really do try to make sure that students have what they need depending on their special dietary situations. A question, do they have Ensure? I honestly don't know the answer to that, but that is definitely something that if that's an important circumstance or important need for a student, I think that's definitely something that, you know, the admissions counselor could probably work to find out an answer to with the members of our dining hall. So we could definitely look into that for you. Jolise, did you want to say something?
Just to Casey's point, like to say how great the dining hall is. Like I'm an Orthodox, and they know that I'm observing currently, and one of the women who work there, Adrian, she knows exactly what days I'm fasting, and she makes me like custom sandwiches. So it's just, you actually get like personal connections with them too, and they remember who you are and they ask you how you're doing, and she always has something pulled to me for the side so that I can come to the dining hall on Wednesdays and Fridays. So they're very great there.
They are. They're actually really great. I know a lot of students get to know them very well over their time at Notre Dame. I did see a question in the chat about radiological sciences, and I do know we had a couple of students who were interested in that, and the question was about the clinical sites. And that's a great question, and I actually can answer it because I've done a lot to learn about that over the last couple of years. And so for our radiological science students, we have a couple of different clinical pathways for them. One, and our longest standing one, is with Johns Hopkins Medical Imaging. And that is, again, it's a competitive site placement, but in your senior year, you will work with the director of the radiological science program, Dr. Brian Christie, and he will help prepare you for your interviews and your placement testing, and to get you. And so one is Johns Hopkins Medical Imaging. One relationship that we have that is fairly new, we've had it for about 2 years, is with Umbc Sonography, if that is something that the student is interested in. Again, it's a competitive process, but they save seats for our students basically as part of our arrangement. And then we're hopefully getting ready to start our similar arrangement with CCBC and their clinical sites placements. So there's definitely a number of different pathways, and we're continuing to look at new options for that as well as we're learning more and more about the kinds of training that students want to have in radiological sciences. But we definitely do have a faculty member who's dedicated to that program and to helping you find your clinical placements. Okay, so for my art therapy students who are here, 2 questions for you. What is the art room like? And there's more than one. And can you talk about the 5-year art therapy program, please, which might have to come back a little bit to me, but let's start with what are the art opportunities and spaces like for my students who are who have done our art classes? Casey, I see you just unmuted yourself. Do you want to go first?
Yes. As far as I know, there's 2 like mainly art rooms. They are really big rooms surrounded by huge windows, so you get really good lighting in there. There's also easels set up throughout the room and tables and chairs for people to sit in. And the art room, or the art therapy specific room, is also an art room that people are allowed to use. It's decorated with a lot of art that the art therapy majors have made over the time, and it consists of a lot of big tables with chairs all around it. And there is art supplies for you to use, but that's only for art therapy majors.
And I do know too that there is a fairly new kiln that I've heard all kinds of wonderful things about. I have not had a chance to go see it, but literally it's one like you can control with an app, which I think is so amazing. And so we are starting to do more, bringing in more resources, both for the art program and art therapy students to use. We're always looking at new supplies, new techniques. We have really great faculty members in the art department, Kevin Rains, Jeff Delanoy, and then obviously we have our art therapy instructors who all work together to make sure that there is a diverse group of materials that students can work with. In terms of the 5-year art therapy program, that you will work with the director of that program, which is Dr. Kathy Goucher, and she's an alum of the university, and she will make sure that in your basically your first 3 years that you are doing all of the prerequisite requirements that students need to have to be able then to go and get a master's in art therapy. And so by doing that, you're ready to go after your 3rd year to where your 4th year, you're transitioning out of finishing your undergraduate while starting your graduate classes, so that by the end of your 5th year, you will have both your bachelor's and your master's degree in art therapy, because you have to, in art therapy, you have to go on to get a master's to then be able to go and take the licensing tests and then be able to become a practicing art therapist in the state of Maryland. So within that 5 years, you'll have both your bachelor's and your master's degree. Oh yes, thank you, Grace. We still do have a photo studio and a darkroom that we use all the time because we really think that's an important skill for people to have. Are there requirements to be in the program? The art therapy program, there are no requirements in terms of starting off in art therapy, just an interest in both art and psychology. And really just at that point, just it's talking to Kathy Goucher to make sure that you're getting into the beginning art therapy, the beginning psychology, and the beginning art classes, so that you're taking everything that you need to be ready to move into your master's. Any other questions or thoughts that may have come up from our student panel? I'm just kind of quickly looking through the chat to make sure we haven't missed anything. We missed talking about the Hershey's ice cream, because that is one of the reasons I cannot go to the cafeteria every day, because I would be eating way too much of that, because yes, that's awesome. Yeah, great. The student showcase for the gallery. Grace, do you want to talk a little bit more, just real quickly, about the different galleries that we have and maybe some of the different things that happen in the galleries?
Yeah, so we have 2 galleries on campus. The Gormley Gallery, which is located on the 2nd floor of Foyer, and that holds like juried exhibitions. We have a big drawing and print show coming up in the next few weeks that will open. And then we also have the Severa Student Gallery, which is in the nursing building. I'm blanking on what it's called. But the nursing building on the second floor where we host student showcases throughout the year and give students the opportunity to do that. And then at the end of the fall semester, we always end that semester with a student showcase because that's when the intro level art classes and everybody is welcome to put their art on the walls. There's no like limitations or anything. So yeah, it's really fun. So we have like big public showing events and then also places for students to show their work.
Great, thank you, Grace. A couple of questions that came up. One I'm going to answer before I get to a question I think is a really good one to ask the student panel. One was about biology courses and what courses biology majors need to do. I don't know if one of our biology, Farah, could you talk a little bit about the classes? That'd be great.
Yeah, sure. So for majoring in biology, there's 3 courses that every bio major has to take, which is intro bio and then unity and diversity and genetics. But then after you take those 3, there's like a huge selection that you can pick 6 courses from. And me personally, I've chosen to take microbiology, vertebrate anatomy, there's immunology, neurobiology, like nutrition. There's like so many you can pick from, and it just depends on what you're interested in. And if you obviously take those 6, then you take off all your requirements for your major. And then you'll be able to take senior seminar in your senior year, which is like research based, and you pick a topic at the start of that and just get to do any research that you're interested in.
And 2, there are research opportunities throughout the curriculum to work with professors on some of the research that they're doing. And you can do that for credit I think it's a 1 credit usually research assistantship. And then we also have, just blanked on what I wanted to say. Oh, we also, if you're interested in going into either medical school, veterinary school, any of those sort of pre-professionals, we also have a specific advisor for that so that they can make sure you're getting ready to take any of your graduate exams, entrance exams that you need to do for those programs. Okay, so the other couple of questions have come in as well. Just to kind of follow up real quick before I get back to the other question, the pre-pharmacy concentration. So I don't think we have any of the students on the panel that are pre-pharmacy. So let me try to talk about it a little bit, but you can come in and maybe before I say anything, maybe one of the admissions counselors, if there's any admissions counselor who knows more about the pre-pharm program, just I don't want to, or can at least correct me as I'm going through this. But you can actually come in and be part of our pre-pharm accelerated track, which is working with our pharmacy school to be able to kind of accelerate yourself into that doctorate in pharmacy degree. And I believe that is one you apply for after you get, this is where I'm hoping someone might be able to correct me. I think that's when you apply for after you get onto campus and after your first year, because they've got to be able to see your GPA, your grades, and some of those first classes. But it is definitely, and it is competitive. So there's a limited number of students that we take into that every year. But if you do want to know more about it, please reach out because we can get you in touch with Dr. Jen Kerr, who is the pre-pharm advisor, and she's the person, one of the person in SISB who works with pharmacy for students in that program, and she can get you a lot more information about the specifics of it and how you apply. And then let me come back to another question that came up, and that was just, can the students talk about diversity and treatment on campus? I don't know if there's any students who would like to kind of offer their perspective on that. Yeah, Farah.
I'll go first. So I came from England, and obviously it's a very, very long way from home. But it feels like I'm at home here as well, because I feel so welcomed and like everybody's so supportive, and it just feels like a really nice community, and everyone knows each other very well, and everyone's accepting of everybody else. And there are a lot of people from different cultures and different countries. So it's a really nice place. You won't feel like you're not welcomed or anything. So yeah.
I know we were all kind of watching out for Farah during the COVID, trying to get her to and from campus. And Dr. Erdman is our international student advisor as well. And so she was always giving me updates on how that was going. Any other students want to comment on that? Although I think Farah may have given a really nice kind of sense of we are a community here. We are a very welcoming community. That's one thing I've definitely found in my time here at Notre Dame is that we are an incredibly diverse student body, an incredibly diverse campus. And we really do try to create an environment where we are inclusive and welcoming to all ideas, all perspectives, whether it's in classrooms or whether it's across campus. And I think that's just, it shows, that's part of showing how we live the university's mission every day. And we can come back to that in just one second. I do want to make sure before I miss this, because there was a really great question that Allie asked. And I think our panel here of students can really do a great job of talking about this. Do you only, do we only have to take the classes geared to our major, or can we take other classes as well? So, Malika?
Well, you have a lot of general education requirements, which kind of forces you out of your department. So, I mean, right now I'm taking a biology course about human anatomy or human biology. So that's an example of learning about things that I wouldn't learn in a comm arts class. And I also took a photography class for my art requirement. So I got to kind of see what the art studios and like the art program looked like, even though I wasn't a part of it. And also with the photography class, you get to use the like printing inside of the library. So it was very technical. So I got to see like what all the library can do. And then I also got to see, you know, regular things of how everything functions in the art department, which kind of helped me with my comm arts major, because I'm also in the newspaper. So when you're taking pictures for the newspaper, I could actually like use a real camera and learn how to use a DSLR now. So yeah, that was really interesting. You don't have to stick to just your majors classes.
Malika, since you're still on, there was also a question about the Afro Caribbean Club. Would you want to just talk about that really quickly?
So the Afro Caribbean Club, a lot of well, they have this, we have this, what is it called? It's like a fashion show. So, but it's not just a fashion show. It's also like, so people from different vendors come in and they do makeup and they sell jewelry, and that's like the big event that is held for the Afro Caribbean Club. And then there's like monthly meetings, and you just talk about, well, basically things that people of Afro-Caribbean descent dealt with, the conflict that sometimes happened between Afro-Caribbeans and Black American women, and just things that we have to deal with. I'm Jamaican, so that's the Caribbean side, and then I'm also West African, so like it kind of, and I was born in America, so we talk about all three, like how it's different being Caribbean than African than American, and it's just a conversation, and you also get to like meet people who you can connect with on like a cultural level, which you otherwise wouldn't even know. And I also run, when the station is open and COVID isn't happening, let's just like imagine COVID isn't happening right now. I have an Afro-Caribbean, like I DJ, so I have a show on Fridays that does just Afro-Caribbean music. And so I'm trying to expand on that and like kind of have talks if, you know, by the time I graduate, things open. But yeah, it's a good time, and you meet a lot of girls that you wouldn't have because we're all from different majors, like everybody's all over the place. So it's fun. if that answers your question.
Great, thank you. Do any of the other students on the panel want to talk about going back to that question of taking classes outside of the major, of your chosen major?
I
Yeah,
can
Casey.
a little bit about it. So for art therapy specifically, there's only a few art therapy courses you actually take, but the majority of the courses you will take is art and psychology courses. So that's specific for the art therapy major. But besides that, I've had a lot of opportunities to take courses outside of that, including the religion requirement. I took the intro to religion course, and then for my higher up level course, I took an online world religions course, which to this day is still one of my favorite classes I took here at Notre Dame. I've also had a lot of opportunities to take like philosophy courses and history. And also because I'm a part of the Elizabeth Morse Honors Program, I had the opportunity to take last semester a course on the history of comic books, which was a very interesting course. And we got to make our own comic books, which was very exciting. And we also had the opportunity to go, if we wanted to the Baltimore Convention Center for, I can't remember the name of the convention they held, but we had the opportunity, if we wanted to present a panel there. I didn't personally go, but I know a lot of the other students in the class did. So that's another like great opportunity you get. But I think there's a lot of leeway within your schedule each year to add some courses that you would like to take for your own personal interest.
Great, thank you. Jaleese?
I was just gonna say what's really unique about Notre Dame is that you get a liberal arts education. So what everyone's touched on, that you have to take like a lower level and upper level religion and philosophy, a history course, social science, gender studies. You get exposed to a lot of things, and that actually builds you as a person. How you get multifaceted perspectives that can be very useful to your major. So I think when deciding whether to come to Notre Dame, if accepted or still like applying, thinking about the different perspectives and skills that you'll get from all these different classes are really going to help you out in the future with your career.
Great, thank you. One question sort of related to this. What is the course load like for art therapy majors? Are projects spaced out? Are there a lot of essays to write? Grace?
Okay, so I'm an art therapy major and I'm a junior. So the art therapy course is a combination of psychology and art classes. So you'll have like projects and instruction in your art classes, and then you'll also take psych classes, including intro to psych, theories of personality, and then psychopathology and counseling, which will help you as an art therapist. But there are 3 art therapy courses you take, and then your senior year you do a practicum where you shadow an art therapist and really like are in the field and seeing how it works in an active setting. I would say it's a pretty like, it's like a good course load. I think it's enjoyable because with art therapy, a lot of our projects are like making an art piece and then writing about it, which is fun in a different way to like show your knowledge and how you're understanding the concepts. But we also, in the psych classes, we do have to write, but it's definitely worth it. And if it's something that you're interested in, the work doesn't really feel like work because it's interesting topics that you're researching and learning about.
Thank you so much, Grace. Are there any other questions that anyone would like to ask the student panel?
There was a question in the chat. Are there still study abroad programs happening even with COVID? Just touch on that.
Yep. Dr. Erdman, would you like to answer that one?
Absolutely. So if anybody is keeping tally of the various things that are under my office, I think we're now at 712. which is a running joke on campus. So I am also the director of study abroad at Notre Dame. And as with basically every other university in the United States at the moment, the study abroad program is suspended due to COVID. We don't have any idea as to when that may be reinstated. Obviously, there's a lot of different things to take into consideration as to when that may come back. And that is, as far as I understand it, the same for every institution in the state of Maryland. Those are the other colleagues that I've talked to in the last year. But as not a replacement, but as in the meantime, what the Maryland colleagues and I have discussed kind of proposing are study domestically kind of trips. So potentially studying, going somewhere else in the United States, doing study tours within the United States that would kind of, once it's safe, once COVID starts to relax, but kind of not having to deal with the international travel just yet. And so that's sort of where we are, is waiting for those international COVID restrictions, which are incredibly, it's an incredible obstacle to studying abroad. So there is a program. We've had a lot of success in the past. It is just, it's a COVID issue at the moment.
Thank you, Dr. Erdman. Malika?
So I know as an incoming student, I was very curious about what my classes would look like. So in the chat, I put the course catalog. So if you are like an art therapy major, you're thinking about it, you just go to the course catalog and you click on what your major would be, and it's going to show you how your classes would line up if you did come. So that's a lot. Like, at least you can get a visualization of what it looks like.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing that, because the catalog is your answer to a lot of these kinds of questions. So I'm so glad, that the student was able to post that. That makes me so happy. And that this can be a resource for you. So yes, it'll talk about policies, it'll talk about specific majors, it'll talk about, double majoring, things like that. So a lot of questions that you might have as you're continuing your process of making decisions are definitely found in the catalog. So I don't see any other questions at the moment. So I think I'm going to turn it back to Marcy and Anna at this point.
Great. Thank you so much, everybody. Especially thank you to Pam and Jen and all of our students for being here today. I'm continuously blown away by just how smart and amazing our students are. And the students that we have applying here still represent just how diverse our students at Notre Dame are. So I'm so thankful that you guys were all here today with us. Anna just put in the chat the link to the financial aid appointments. So if you're a student and you've been accepted and you have your letter and you want to go over that, you can go ahead and sign up. And we'll follow up with you on Monday, just a few little questions to ask, what we need to talk about. And then if you're an applicant and you still haven't been accepted, like I said, reach out to us so that we can help you through this process and get you through the next stage as soon as possible. But this session has been recorded, so we will be sending this out to everybody too, so you can watch it on your own time. And maybe if you missed something, you can go back on it. But I really just want to give a big round of applause to everybody that was here today. We really appreciate it so very much. It looks like it's a really nice day outside right now. So that's pretty much it for us. I hope everybody enjoys your weekend, and we'll talk soon. So thank you, everybody. See ya.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.